actively associated with this event, Keshav Dhulia and Janvi, who has presented me bouquet. Participants, ladies and gentlemen, I feel it to be my proud privilege to interact with you this evening. First and foremost, I express my gratitude to Mr. Umesh Chandra Dhulia, who has invited me to preside over this event. I am fortunate because when I was a school-going child in Lucknow, my father was in Ministry of Information Broadcasting. There was a newspaper, two newspapers, among other newspapers, which were subscribed by my father, late father. One year was Karmabhoomi, a Hindi weekly, Karmabhoomi. That was posted to us at our Lucknow address, where my father was posted. And I used to go through that tabloid newspaper. Beautiful and accurate reporting of events, unbiased, like a journalist of Fourth Estate should narrate, unbiased, impartial. I never knew that I'll be meeting the other members of the Dhulia family later on, because I was a school-going child. Then somehow I joined judiciary. When I joined judiciary, Justice Keshav Chandra Dhulia was the Chief Standing Counsel in Allahabad High Court, representing the state. You don't know much about, I will not take you to the designation and the work of the law officers, Chief Standing Counsel, Advocate General, etc., etc. He was the Chief Standing Counsel, and he also became my judge also later on. 1984, he became judge of the Allahabad High Court. I was Civil Judge Junior Division. It was a proud moment for all of us. So, unfortunately, he passed away in 1985, and then he gave various rulings. Rulings, precedents. You can find the rulings in ALR, Allahabad Law Reports, Allahabad Law Journal, Allahabad Law Cases, basically on Education Department, Revenue Department. The writs were filed against the Revenue. The writs were filed against the Education Department. Writs means writs under Article 226 and 32 of the Constitution of India. 32 is basically Supreme Court and 226 is High Court. You know that it was such a stimulating debate that I was impressed. The way you put forth your arguments, debate, for and against. Internally, some of the participants they were favoring the motion, but then they had to speak against that, out of choice. This is also a bad job, because if some of you will become a lawyer and a client come to you, you will not ask him that your case is weak. You will accept the pay. Right to speedy trial, right to give him legal remedy is the duty of a lawyer. So, highly stimulating debate. I congratulate all of you. Diction is one of the character of a lawyer or a writer. You have to improve your diction, enrich your diction, and then one thing which a lawyer is supposed to do is to acquire persuasive skill. How to persuade the judge. As a writer, you have to persuade the readers. As a legislator, you have to persuade the speaker. Of course, the structure of the legislative assembly and parliament is different. There you go by either the voice vote or the number of MLAs or MPs which you are having with your party. So, very good debate. Many of you were debating for the first time. I congratulate you, because that shows that our legal profession has a bright future. In a legal profession, either you become lawyer after completing your law degree, or you become a judge, or you go to academics, or you go to corporate, whatever it may be. I mean, you may join some law journal. I was offered when I was a student of law in Laxman University, I was offered the sub-editor of LLT, Lucknow Law Times. But then that was far off from my university, and therefore after joining the LLT for 2 days, I quit the job. I was offered 1,000 rupees. 1975-76. 1,000 too much. So, coming back to the topic, I am not here to deliver the judgment. Judgments have already been delivered by the Hon'ble Supreme Court and the High Courts, different High Courts in different matters. The job of, kudos to Mr. Dhulia, Umesh Chandra Dhulia, who is again the Secretary of Karmabhoomi Foundation. He is doing a yeoman's job. This is something which he is helping the legal profession this way. Human dignity. We are sitting here in this conference hall with dignity. And there was an essay. I read it when I was in graduation, on the rule of the road. The title of the essay was On the Rule of the Road by Jerome K. Jerome. Why do you follow left rule while going to or traveling to the road? So that there may not be head-on confrontation, collision. You will argue that I have a right to free movement. Everybody has a right to free movement. If I say that I have a right to free movement, and he will also say that he has a right to free movement, then there will be head-on collision. So, the rule of the road, rules are there, that everybody has to take to his or her left, so that there may not be anarchy or chaos or confusion in the society. Law is hallmark of a civilized society. One has to preserve law, protect the law, follow the law. We are all law students. Even today I am a law student. I might be some judge, but still I am a law student. I consider myself to be law student. So, Article 21, it reads, no person shall be deprived of life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. I will repeat again. Whenever you argue, whenever you go to your exam, read the legislative provision thrice, 4 times, 10 times, 100 times. No person. And the word used is person, not the citizen. Person means, even if Ajmal Kasab comes here in India, he might be a Pakistani national, but he will be given the same treatment which an Indian citizen is given the treatment. Person, we are the citizens of India. I am the citizen of India, Indian national also. But the ambit of Article 21, human dignity, is person. You know, there are fundamental rights in the Constitution. Some rights are given to the persons, others are to the citizens. Citizens is a narrow term, person is a wider term. So no person shall be deprived of life or personal liberty. Human dignity is within life or personal liberty, except according to the procedure established by law. Now, for example, I say that had the Constitution makers simply said this, no person shall be deprived of life or personal liberty, right? And I commit theft of this water bottle, flee away from this place, go to my home. If I steal it, then I was spot free, because no person shall be deprived of life or personal liberty. I can't be arrested, I can't be detained. But then it says, except according to the procedure established by law. If stealing of this bottle, without water bottle, without the authority of the owner, without the consent of the owner, taking away of the water bottle is theft, then I can be detained, I can be arrested. That is why I say that the personal liberty or life, the fundamental right, is not absolute. It is subject to some restrictions. I'll take you to another example. You have read Salmon's jurisprudence, first year, I believe, first year, second year, third year. Salmon's jurisprudence. There is a chapter, rights and duties, liabilities. Rights are correlative to duties. If I have some rights, I owe certain duties. If I become the Prime Minister, then I owe certain duties. If I become a minister, I become a judge, then I owe certain duties. Outwardly, it may appear that a judge is a great thing. Might be having a constitutional post, but there are several restrictions. He cannot move in the society freely. He cannot divulge everything which he has done in the due discharge of his official capacity to anybody publicly, because he has taken oath under the 7th schedule of the Constitution 270. Many things. So everybody has referred to Francis Collin, Maneka Gandhi, Khalak Singh. Every ruling must be in your tapes. A.K. Gopalan also, first case. The Marxist leader, the communist leader, A.K. Gopalan. He was detained. But then he was not given certain facilities inside the jail. He was a political detainee. A writ petition was filed on his behalf. The Supreme Court said that yes, you can detain him, political detainee, but then you have to give him required facilities inside the jail. You know that many facilities are given to the detainees inside the jail. As per jail manual, how much food has to be given, how much chapatis, how many chapatis have to be given, how many times tea is to be given. The family members, you must have read in the newspaper, he was given right to meet his wife, Delhi Minister Manish Sisodia, under the orders of the under the orders of the court. Why? Under Article 21. He is a detainee. Punish him if he has committed. If one has committed a mistake, defied the law, send him to jail, punish him. But at the same time, human dignity has to be restored. So many things, my dear friends, and the debate has been, I said that intellectually stimulating. Then there are many provisions in our constitution, fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy. I say so on the basis of my experience on the bench that human dignity is a constitutional right. Even if there is, that doesn't mean that some of you were wrong because you were assigned that role to speak against the motion, therefore you had to speak like that. So everything, the right to have clean water, drinking potable water is also my fundamental right. It might have been written in the directive principal state policy, but when the lawyers draft the writ petitions, directive principal state policy 39(9) or 45, 42, they are mixed with Article 21. The sweep and ambit of Article 21 is very wide, very wide. I mean, there is no, there are reasonable restrictions. When the Constitution was being debated in the Constituent Assembly, the non-lawyer members felt envy and stated that yes, this Constitution is heavily tilted in favor of the lawyers. Lawyers, gold mine for lawyers. You must have heard that small poetry. I am parliamentary draftsman. I compose country's laws. I am parliamentary draftsman. I compose country's laws. And of half the litigation, I am undoubtedly the cause. I write a kind of English that is hard to understand. I am parliamentary draftsman. I write a kind of English that is hard to understand. Though the purists dislike me, but the lawyers think I am grand. Because whenever a statute is capable of two interpretations, who will be benefited? The lawyers will be benefited. There is scope for arguing for or against. So, and one thing, when I go to NJ, National Judicial Academy, I tell it, to everybody, be it the lawyers and the jurists or the judges, that kindly remember Rudyard's Kipling poem composed by famous poet Rudyard Kipling, and you have to keep it in your mind. If you go for judgeship, if you go for lawyership, advocacy, any field, remember this thing, Rudyard Kipling's poetry, and that is, I have 6 honest serving men. I have 6 honest serving men, and they have taught me all I know. And they are what, where, how, why, whom, and when. What, where, how, why, whom, and when. Whenever you write an essay, which you have already written, if you become a judge, you write a judgment. Whenever you argue, if you happen to be a lawyer, please see to it that 6 honest serving men help you. I mean, these 6 elements are there in your drafting, in your judgment, in your oration, and in whatever field you go. So, some of you have said about the constitutional right and statutory rights. Constitutional rights means what? Somebody has referred to Article 300. It was earlier, right to property was earlier a constitutional right. It was deleted from there, omitted from there, and made a statutory right. Constitutional rights means if the state wants to do away with those constitutional rights, that is impermissible. Some of the constitutional rights are basic structure of the Constitution, as have been enunciated by Supreme Court in Keshav Bharati case. 50 years are being celebrated, you know. Keshav Bharati has completed 50 years. So, statutory rights can be done away with. Are you reading CRPC nowadays? 167, 57, remand, bail. So these are the repository of Article 20, 21, 22. They constitute criminal jurisprudence in our constitution. And in the Menka Gandhi's case, the court has said, the Supreme Court has said that the procedure must be just, fair and reasonable. Not that no person shall be deprived of right or personal liberty, life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. Procedure, what type of procedure? It must be just, fair and reasonable. If it is arbitrary, then it will be declared ultra vires by the constitutional courts. And lastly, I will remind you of Magna Carta 1215. To none shall be denied justice, to none shall be delay justice, to none shall be sell justice. 1215 Magna Carta. And in Harvard Law School's library there is an inscription. The precepts of laws are these: not to injure others, to live honorably, not to injure others, and to render each his due. And lastly, I will tell you my duty if I don't recite this poem, which is in Hindi. The same thing is being done by Mr. Dhulia, Himanshu Dhulia, the Secretary of Karmabhoomi Foundation. What are these? What is this going on? Conference, debate, in the early morning, essay. Then those who get the prizes will be facilitated by none other than the Chief Justice of India and Hon'ble Mr. Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia in the FRI on 2nd of December. To spread legal literacy is a big task. Whenever you whenever you find opportunity, spread it. Just as his grandfather has spread literacy, awareness, social awareness through journalism, and his father was the judge of the High Court and earlier the Chief Standing Counsel of the state in the Allahabad High Court. So it is our solemn duty to spread awareness. Asatoma Satgamay, Tapoma Jyotirgamay. God, lead us from darkness to light. And I'll conclude my speech with this poem. मैं रोशनी हूँ, मेरी दुश्मनी तो सिर्फ हवाओं से है, अंधेरों से है। मैं रोशनी हूँ, मेरी दुश्मनी तो सिर्फ अंधेरों से है। हवा तो बेवजह ही मुझे परेशान करती है। मैं रोशनी हूँ, मेरी दुश्मनी तो सिर्फ अंधेरों से है। हवा तो बेवजह ही मुझे परेशान करती है। हवाओं से कह दो खुद को आजमा के दिखाएं। हवाओं से कह दो खुद को आजमा के दिखाएं। बहुत रोशनी बुझाती हैं, एक जला के तो दिखाएं। थैंक यू वेरी मच। Please. I said that I am not delivering judgment here.
No, it's not a judgment.
Yes, please.
Justice Keshav Chandra Dhulia, very illustrious and clear illustrious son.
Yes.
It's a matter of great honor for any person.
Great honor.
He to be a judge in the High Court.
Yes.
So I don't know much about him, but only listening to some of my relatives like
Yes.
So if you can throw light to the youngster that what inspired him to be the judge and his journey from I think he belongs to, if I'm not mistaken, Kodwa or something.
I have to speak about his life sketch on second, but
it's
then
an inspiration for everybody.
Inspiration. Once a question was asked to Lord Denning, the great legal luminary, what should be the quality of a judge? Then the reply of Lord Denning was that he should be a noble human being, and it is better if he knows little law. He should be a noble human being, and it is better if he knows little law. I'll focus on the first. He was a noble human being. If you have to succeed in any walk of life, first of all, you have to be a good human being, noble human being. I mean, he is a veteran Navy officer. You might be in some other field. If you have excelled, the first and foremost requisite is you have to be a noble human being. You have to be true to yourself. So, Justice Keshav Chandra Dhulia was he studied basically near his hometown, Madanpur, in district Pori Garhwal. And for higher studies, he was denied admission anywhere else. But one Mr. Peter gave him admission in his school. Because why he was denied admission? Because his father, Pandit Bhairav Dhulia, the renowned journalist, was a renowned freedom fighter. During they were English days, we were under the English regime, so he was denied admission. So ultimately, Mr. Peter gave him admission. After doing the preliminaries, the formal education, primary education, secondary education, he went to Allahabad University, pursuing law and masters in economics. Then he came in contact with, Allahabad University is hub of educationists and great stalwarts, great freedom fighters. He came in contact with them. Ultimately, when he was married, then he started practicing in Lansdowne. If some facts are incorrect, please correct me. Started practicing Lansdowne. Then Lansdowne in Pori Garhwal. Then shifted to Allahabad High Court. And by sheer dint of his labor, and I said that Lord Denning's one has to be a noble human being. He started practicing in Allahabad High Court, and then by the sheer dint of his labor, honesty, integrity, he became the chief standing counsel of the state of UP, government of UP in the High Court of Allahabad. And there is a practice, that the chief standing counsel, government advocate, those who are higher law officers, they are elevated. Elevated means they are offered the judgeship. And then he was elevated as judge of the Allahabad High Court, rendered very good judgments, clear judgments, concise judgments, and then whosoever went from Garhwal to Allahabad regarding his work of Board of Revenue, Board of Education, because these offices were there in the Allahabad, he gave them advice, fought their cases, contested their cases, and ultimately became a judge. Rendered very good judgments which are reported in Allahabad Law Journal and Allahabad Law Reports. Like his father, he was a true patriot, great gentleman, and of course one has to read, one has to be a voracious reader, and has to put in hard work, because before imprinting his name in any profession, one has to be a professional. You will also become a professional someday. So, have I satisfied, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.